Oh my god, look, it's a new camera. Look, hey, look, it's a new camera. New camera. Look, here's my phone. And this is a new camera. Hello, you fantastically fruity fish sticks. As you can see, I have a new camera, and I'm still trying to get used to Stop auto-focusing, I swear to God. New camera, new issues. So, sorry if things are kind of weird right now. We're gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this out, I mean. Sorry, you just watch. You enjoy, or suffer, I guess. We'll see how this goes. So anyways, on to today's content. So, when you think of a standard balisong, you probably think of something like this. A Kraken. All reliable. Lots of people call it standard. Maybe it's a little bit boring. But is that a bad thing? No, not at all. Because if you just want to flip, and you want to know how you're going to flip, this is perfect. You know exactly what it's going to do. You know how it's going to work. It's predictable. It has a good balance that most people agree is relatively comfortable. Most people like it. Some people don't, but you can't deny that it's just generally good. Like, as a standard, right? So, even if it's not your favorite, you can at least acknowledge it's basic. It's predictable, right? Cool. So, now, let's move on to something a little bit less standard. Woo! Look what you did! You monster! What have you done? Okay, it's not that strange. I mean, it's still just a Kraken trainer. But it is made of scrap parts, which is really funny. This blade I got for free from another mod from the Will Her server, Setua. As you can see, it's an inked blade. You can see because it's black on the flats, but on the edges, it's all silver and shiny. Isn't that funny? It got satinified. And these handles, they're just spare handles that I had laying around, and I decided, well, they're not seeing any use from anything else, so let's slap them onto this blade. And on the inside, now, it's not just funny because one of the bushings is undersized, and one of them is, this one is undersized, but this one has a burr on it because it looks like it was tuned with a Dremel, and I think that's hilarious. And also, of course, it squeaks. I don't know why it squeaks. The burr might be part of that, but it squeaks, and I refuse to oil it because I think it's funnier like this. This is my funny trainer. Now, if we want to get into something that's actually not standard, let's talk about the 5T again. Sorry, the blade is oily. It's D2 steel, so I don't want it to rust, so it's oiled there. That's why that is. Oh, but what's that? I already talked about my 5T before? Oh, well, how about this for this? What's better than one 5T? Two 5Ts. Alright, I know you're probably wondering, but why do I have two of them? Why do I need two of these strange, janky, old things from Machine Wise that Dalen wishes that he could recall every single one and destroy? Well, because I think they're funny. And also, these are both on different pivot systems. So if you've been watching me, you may recognize that this 5T is my original 5T, the first one that I've had that I got last year. This one is in really good condition, and it's on a bushing system, a weird floating bushing system where the washers are tuned to the knife instead of the bushings tuned, and it's funny. But this is not the original system that they were on. Cat hair. Anyways, this is not the original system that they were supposed to be on, and I've also heard this is not the fun one. This is actually the inferior version of the 5Ts, because this one is a 5T that's on the system that it was designed for, which is bearings. There are caged bearings in these pivots. I don't know if you can actually hear it, but there's bearings in here, and you can feel the balls rolling when you flip it. This is a bearing one. This is a bushing one. This is what they're supposed to be like, and oh boy, do they feel very, very distinctly different from each other. They're like half-siblings or something. This thing feels kind of what you would expect for something of its size and shape on bushings. I mean, it feels a little bit more sluggish, a little bit more controlled and flowy because of it. It's a little bit heavier-ish in feel, even though it's not that much heavier, because if you look into the channels, they're actually pretty well carved out. So it's very thin titanium, despite its size, which makes it kind of that lower 4-ounce range, kind of like a Kraken. It's not that heavy, but it kind of feels like it because of how chunky it is, and that's fine. This thing, though, is on bearings, so it's a little bit faster, and because of it, it feels a little bit lighter than it actually is, even though they're mostly the same in terms of weight, so maybe a couple grams different, but it's very close. But this one feels a lot faster because instead of direct metal contacting each other and rubbing, this has balls inside of it that roll. Balls rolling significantly reduces the coefficient of friction, which makes it feel faster because there's less friction that's stopping it from moving. Isn't that fun? Don't you love physics? Did you see that? The bearing one directly assaulted the bushing one. They're having some sibling rivalry. Stop it. I'm gonna put you in a corner if you don't stop. Also, I don't know if you could hear it, but this one kind of rings. I don't know what's causing that ringing because as you can see from these handles, they're full channel titanium. There's not a speed channel, and these cutouts are not long enough to make it vibrate. So what I'm guessing is that maybe because it's on bearings, or maybe it's just because this one doesn't fully tighten and it's a little bit looser, the handles, when they are swinging, are allowed to freely vibrate, so they ring like metal, which is kind of cool, but I wish that it was a little bit more quiet. That's fine though. Ringing is something. That reminds me of a dog I had. His name was Ringo. Also, I'm not taking these apart right now because it's a pain to take these apart and put them back together. There's so many parts, so many things that you have to keep track of and their orientation to put them back together how they're supposed to. I'm not doing it for this. I'll find some old pictures that I took when I did disassemble them for various reasons, and you can see what they look like on the inside because of that. This one is especially painful because inside of it there are bushings, brace washers, and bearings, the cage bearings. So on each side, there are 5 parts to keep track of. That's so much. This one at least is better, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with either of them. They're both painful to take apart and put together. Dalen, how did you do it? How did you do it without going insane? Unless you are insane, in which case, cool. Also, a small hunch that I got that I can't really confirm, but I have a theory about. I think this is a later one, and this might be an earlier one that was converted to bushings later on, because this one, if you can see, has a little bit of inaccuracy on the face jimping. You can see, like, especially right here, a weird transition line here, like right here to here. It's got this weirdness, but this one is completely smooth and normal, so I'm guessing that this was made on one of the more accurate machines. Unless they were all made on the same machine, in which case I wouldn't know because Dalen's never talked about it, nor does he ever want to talk about these, I've noticed. So that's kind of it. There's not really that much more that I need to talk about these because I just thought it would be cool to show them off because I have both kinds now. So anyways, that's kind of it. There's not that much more that I have to talk about these. I just thought it would be cool to do a little showcase of both kinds of 15 now that I've got both a bearing and a bushing one. What else is there to really say other than this one flip fast, this one had ball, it go rolly, this one bushing, feel slower, heavier, but not actually heavier, pretty, this one is kind of beat up. That's it. I don't really have anything else to say about them, so there you go. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This one's dull and messed up, so now I got a beater, and I'll see y'all next time. So now can you just imagine if somebody who was better than me at flipping had these in their hands and they were able to do doubles? Imagine doing doubles with 50s, like just... That'd be funny, right? Right? That's not just me?